Good morning again to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. And what I would like to share is the reinforcing of HPV vaccination in my country that turned from a beautiful dream to a nightmare, but now with a promising dawn. The beautiful dreams started in August 2012 when the President and the Ministry of Health uh, launched the vaccination program, and we were able to have an excellent coverage of 97% of the targeted population of the adolescents in my country. Those were given to girls from 9 to 17 years old. But unfortunately, 2 years later, a very bizarre episode that happened in a small town in the northern part of Colombia, Carmen de Bolivar. Some girls of the same grade and of the same school went to the emergency room of the local hospital complaining of very bizarre symptoms, headaches, abdominal cramps. Some of them fainted. And I don't know who decided to blame all of these symptoms to the fact that all of these girls had been vaccinated against HPV some weeks and many of them some months before. So that's a crazy story. And unfortunately, it has a very deleterious effect on the program. As you can see in this slide, the vaccination rate dropped to less than 50% nationwide. Unfortunately, one of the things that I noticed was that a significant proportion of healthcare providers do not have confidence in the vaccine, and I wonder why. We're working on that, but it was something that for me, it was a surprise. Secondly, the episode of Carmen de Bolivar went into the TV, newspapers, and those became the main source of misinformation. And unfortunately, again, local politicians took advantage of this episode and they started to attack the government. Uh, the National Institute of Health of Colombia carried out a very serious evaluation of what happened in Carmen de Bolivar and ruled out any association with the HPV vaccine. But that study was never published in the mass media. It's what is being recognized as a massive psychogenic event. To make things worse, in 2017, sorry, no, not yet. In 2017, a lawsuit against the Colombian government and the pharmaceutical company was filed for more than 400 million US dollars. And also, we have to accept that the health team nationally was not prepared to deal with this crisis. The Ministry of Health reacted slowly and silently. I describe that as the conspiracy of silence. They prefer not to talk about what happened, and they sort of let's go without explaining many things. And I would like to take advantage of this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation to these two Quixotes of the HPV story in Colombia. Dr. Nubia Munoz, she's a Colombian pathologist living now in Lyon, and Javier Bosch from the Catalan Institute of Oncology in Barcelona. They encourage us never to give up, and they have been behind our efforts to reactivate the HPV vaccination in my country, giving us their enthusiasm and guidance. So thank you, Nubia, and thank you, Javier. At the Colombian League, we started to think that something was to be done, and we decided to choose Arauca. Arauca is a province in the eastern part of Colombia, frontier with Venezuela. And Arauca has the highest incidence and mortality rate in the country. So we went to the American Cancer Society, we explained the situation, we presented a project with the help of the Johns Hopkins University. We started this idea next, this project which our objective was to develop a behavior change communication strategy conceived from a biopsychosocial perspective with evidence-based to educate and sensitize the identified audiences regarding the importance of HPV vaccination as cervical cancer prevention. To do that, we identify these audiences that are what we call key audiences, that are the ones involved in the decision of taking a vaccine. Those were fathers of girls in vaccination age, mothers, health providers, teachers of adolescents, and adolescents in vaccination age. We went there not once, but many times. We had long interviews. We spent a lot of time talking to all of these audiences, and with them develop a strategy that, fortunately enough, as I will show you later, it was a great success. We have to go far away communities, taking a lot of effort. It was a way of showing the community that we had compromised and that we were behind this project, because it was for the women of Colombia, for the girls of Colombia, and that was the best motivation that we had. We developed a lot of workshops around the country, but especially in Arauca, to be able to be admitted into this workup of telling them about HPV. They have to take the ECO online course, the Ecology Institute of Catalonia that Dr. Bosch already spoke, and all of them took it, and the report of how happy they were after receiving the course was outstanding. It was really, it has been a great help, this online course that is in the network of the National Cancer Institute, and as Dr. Javier mentioned, is for free. This is the on course. If the people in the country had any question regarding the safety of the vaccine, they can go there, and it takes about 5 or 6 hours. I took it myself. Great. I learned a lot of the HPV vaccine safety, and yes, in fact, it has been a great thing to have this ECO course in the country. We know that health providers and teachers are well known to be leaders, and that the community listens to them. But we felt that we need to give all of these health providers the confidence to defend the safety of the vaccine, and to show them the robust evidence on safety and efficacy. And it's through education and communication that we can start to change this. But we need to go and talk to them, and to tell them that, yes, we understand the situation, why the community was against the vaccine, because the media had done a lot of damage, but we have to reverse that. And it's through education that we are starting to change the situation in my country. This is something funny that happened one morning in one school in Arauca. We had to gather all of the adolescents, and this little girl was crying. Her mother was reluctant, and I went to approach this girl because I thought that she might develop a domino situation, that all of the girls would start crying, and that was going to be a terrible thing to happen. And I told her, listen, why are you so afraid? And she said, I'm afraid of the needle. I don't want to have the needle in my arm. So I said, listen, I will let you pinch my arm, and then I will pinch yours. And so she pinched my arm, and then I pinched her, and I vaccinated her, and she became my best ally that morning. She invited all of her schoolmates to get into the vaccine program, and we were very happy to have her as our best ally, and her mother also. So going back to school, to the school-based vaccination, was a great thing to do. We had to convince the headmasters to open up the school that had been closed after the Carmen de Bolivar incident. And we felt that the headmaster, the education staff was well with us. They thought that it was important to go back to school because they knew they comprehend the importance of the HPV vaccination, especially in my country. So we have to go back to school. And when I went to different scenarios to talk to the adolescents, I was very happy and I felt very proud, because all of these Colombian adolescents, when I asked them, okay, after you listen my little lecture, would you like to be vaccinated? All of them raised their hands. So I felt very happy and very rewarded for this. And this is what happened in Arauca. When we arrived in Arauca, only 4.7% of the adolescents were being vaccinated. We started all of this communication strategy after hearing the community and working with them to develop the communication strategy. And in just 18 months, we were able to reverse the situation, and we were able to vaccinate almost 85% of the adolescents in Arauca, and some of the cities or towns in the province, some of them reached 100% of the adolescents being vaccinated. So that was in Arauca, unfortunately not in the rest of the country. Next, maybe I have to mention Cali. Cali is the hometown of Dr. Nubia Munoz, and she's very proud of being from Cali also. And they have done also a great effort, and you can see that they were able to reach almost 75% of adolescents being vaccinated. But that's Cali and Arauca, but in the rest of the country, we are still far behind of what the first figures that we showed in the beginning of the program in the year 2012 and 2013. So education, this is my favorite, Mafalda. Education is the vaccine against ignorance, and we are absolutely convinced that in order to change this situation of HPV vaccination, we have to educate the community, the health providers, everyone. Dr. Bosch already mentioned that there was a meeting in Bogota of the HPV Prevention Control Board with representatives of Costa Rica, United States, Canada, Mexico, Bulgaria, Belgium, Brazil, France, Chile. There is the Vice Minister of Health. So that was a great support for us. And they gave us the opportunity of calling the media to get into this program. And now the media is behind it, and that has helped us a lot. So never give up. That's the lesson. So we created a roundtable for the elimination of cervical cancer with the organizing role of the Colombian League Against Cancer, the academia, scientific society, parent associations. We have been lecturing across the country to recover the confidence in the vaccine, reactivate the school base, but unfortunately, the COVID-19 showed up and schools are closed. But nevertheless, I want to highlight that despite the fact of the pandemic, I will show you in the last slide how things are going right now. And I have to highlight that the vaccination posts have never closed despite the pandemic. We have to continue the close partnership with the Ministry of Health, the UICC, the American Cancer Society, the Inter-American Development Bank, and other stakeholders. We would like to replicate the Arauca project in other regions of the country, and we are looking for some financing for that. And my most important lesson was that we have to talk and listen to the community and show them that we do have a compromise with. If they see that the team of the Colombian League and the Ministry of Health, they have a compromise with the community responds. And this is what happens now from the beginning of the program in the year 2012 to the year 2020. You can see the dark ages of the HPV program. And now we were recovering in the year 2019, but now the pandemic. But that's something that I want to highlight. Despite the pandemic, in the year 2020, that was the pandemic year. This one is also the pandemic year. We were able to keep national, these are figures from the whole country. We were able to maintain the approximately 30% of adolescents vaccination. Obviously in Arauca, it had dropped a little bit, maybe 10% from the figures that we had last year. But we were able to show that we can improve things, and we still have the aim, and we will continue with this program. And we hope to show better results in the years to come. I think the next one is just to say thank you. Yeah, thank you. Gracias. That's it.